Hi guys, it's Sunday today. I'm in my dressing gown even though it is 1:30. I know it's really lazy, but it's a Sunday. I've done a few chores today, but I thought I'd record my skin video for you today, and I thought the best way to do that is obviously with no makeup on, so you can see what my skin looks like without makeup, without all these amazing things that we're able to do to our skin. So all I've done today is moisturised, stuck some serum on, and that's it. That's all I've done today. So I'm still in my dressing gown. What I will then do after this video is go and get dressed, put some makeup on, and then record some more videos for later. So my skin, I don't have many issues with my skin, I have to be honest. I have combination skin, but my cheeks are more normal than dry. I don't have any issues with dryness on my cheeks. My T-zone does get oily, and I get spots, usually hormonal. I've got a couple at the moment. Yeah, just hormonal spots. That's what I usually get. Other than that, no issues. And the purpose of this video is to be very honest, and I'm not going to sugarcoat what I have done to my skin over the years, as bad as it is, because I've done some awful things that everybody's going to cringe. But you learn, and my skin seems okay. I'm not really that upset with the way my skin is. So when I was a teenager, when I got really into sort of like makeup and beauty and skincare, so I would have been very young. I remember being just taking to it straight away, sort of about 11, 12, 13 onwards, and I would read every single magazine that came out. I would try every single product that I could afford to buy with my pocket money. I would do absolutely everything, and I built up a huge collection of skincare and makeup when I was very, very young. And every day, without fail, I would get up early before school, I would cleanse, tone, moisturise. I would do the same every evening before I went to bed. Every weekend, I spent the whole of a Sunday just pampering myself from head to toe. I'd put on a mask on my hair, I'd put on a face mask, I'd lather my body in lotions, I'd do pedicures, I'd do my nails, I would do absolutely everything, and I did that for years. And I found that my skin, I know obviously I was still going through my teenage years, but I just found that my skin just still broke out all the time, no matter what I did, until I stopped. And then I calmed down. I think maybe I was in my early 20s. I had my children really young. I had my first child at 21. And I just didn't really have the time to devote. I didn't really have as much time to devote to my own skincare because I had a baby to look after. So I calmed down a lot on my skincare. But I've always loved wearing makeup, and I've always loved experimenting. So I was very bad, and I left my makeup on for years, every night. Never took it off at night, slept in it, a whole shebang, everything that you're not meant to do. And I did that pretty much until this year, until a few months ago, when I decided to change everything up for when I got to sort of like 40. So I decided to do these videos, and in order to do that, I have to try new products, and I have to try out loads of new stuff, and I have to try out loads of new ways of doing things. So I went back to taking my makeup off. 2, 3. So I've experimented recently, and I have gone back to taking my makeup off every night, and cleansing, toning, moisturising, doing a face pack at the weekend. I've gone back to the whole lot, putting the hair mask on. I do everything bad, or I have done everything bad to my hair and my skin for years. I mean, like you already know, I'm 39 now, so it's been a lot of years I've been doing this. And another bad thing that I've done since I was about 15 maybe is use the sunbed. And I've used it pretty much constantly. I think through my 20s, the only time I didn't use the sunbed was when I was pregnant and breastfeeding. I think that's about it. I think other than that, I went straight back to the sunbed, because back then I didn't use fake tan. I've been using fake tan. I've been using fake tan for quite a few years, but I just preferred the sunbed. It was just easier, less messy, and I hadn't found St. Moritz, which obviously is now a godsend. So now I use fake tan more than I sunbed, but I do still go on the sunbed, and I know it's terrible, and my mum has a go at me all the time about it, and I know it's really bad for you, but I I don't smoke, I don't drink any alcohol, I eat really healthy, I work out every day at the gym, I live a really, really healthy lifestyle, I'm outdoors a lot. I need one vice, and my one vice is the sunbed. So I used to go on daily. I did 7 days a week. I was on the sunbed. I'd do anything to get on the sunbed. I calm it down a lot more now, and I probably go on maybe once or twice, maybe a week. But if I miss a few weeks, it doesn't bother me. It's no issue to me, because I can fake a tan, and I've got this brilliant one and I love it. So again, it's great, bad for your skin, because it's only been recently, in the past year or two, that I've covered my face up. So I've always had my face on show, and I've always tanned my face. I don't sunbathe so much on holiday because, like I've said before, I don't tan in the sun, so I'm quite happy to sit in the shade on holiday. It doesn't bother me. I'll sit in the sun or I'll sit in the shade. But for me, it's sunbeds. So I've done all the bad things that you shouldn't do to your skin. Used sunbeds for nearly 50, no, longer than that, blimey, for lots of years. Not taking my makeup off before I go to bed, and just been really sort of lax. But my skin hasn't really affected my skin. Well, I don't think so. You have to let me know what you think. You probably think I look really haggard and old and everything, but I don't feel that bad. I'm quite happy to go out of the house looking like this. I'm quite happy to go without no makeup, and I'm quite happy for people to come to the door, and I've got no issue with it. I've got no issue with being seen on camera or anything. I'm happy with my skin. I get the odd breakout, hormonal. It's always around my sort of monthly cycle, always. I get 1 or maybe 2 spots. The rest of the time, no problem. So I have no issue. And I've found that going back to cleansing and toning and moisturising has made my skin break out more than usual. So it couldn't have been that bad what I was doing, because I've always had great, you know, I've always had good skin. I've never had any issues with my skin. As what I do to sort of fight ageing, of course I want to fight ageing. So I use a serum that's got some snake venom in. I don't know. I'll have to do a review. I'll do a video about that one time. And I've only been using it about a month, but I've found it, you know, really does sort of help, and sort of it's meant to tighten everything up, and it's done the job. Obviously, makeup is amazing to make you look younger, but I do also get Botox. I get it about 3 or 4 times a year, maybe 3. I think 3 times a year, so not very often. It's sort of worn off at the moment, so I can move everything. So this is what I look like normally, and I decided to, I think I had it for the first time last year. So you know, I just went for the plunge and thought I'd give it a go and see you know what it did, because I had a really deep line in between my eyebrows, because I sort of do that a lot, and it stayed whether I was frowning or not, when my face was just static, it was still there, and it really bothered me. Lines on my forehead, they're just very, very small, they don't really bother me too much. I had quite deep laughter lines sort of around here, because I've got a really big smile when I smile, so, and it makes really big sort of lines around here. So, but for me, the main thing for the Botox was this just crease down here. It just bugged me all the time, and I did everything to try and cover it up with makeup and plumping creams and everything, and it just didn't do anything whatsoever. So I went and had a consultation for some Botox, and the nurse said to me, I don't think it's going to get rid of it. She said, which is something that I didn't know. So if you knew, you know more than me. I didn't realise that Botox doesn't get rid of wrinkles, it just prevents new ones. I had no idea, because I could never understand why all these young girls are getting Botox. I thought, we've got no wrinkles to get rid of. Well, now I know. And if I'd have known then, I probably would have had Botox sooner. But I feel that I don't have any deep set wrinkles that I can't control at the moment. So I'm happy with when I started, and I'm happy with the results it gives me. So yeah, back to this crease. So she said to me, I don't think it's going to get rid of it. So I said, well, let's just give it a go anyway. And I only had 2 areas done that session. So I just had my eyebrows, which sort of went all the way across, and then just my laughter lines, my crow's feet as they call them, my laughter lines around here. And I thought it'd be instant, but it wasn't, and it was, I sort of walked out and thought, oh, I can still move, but as they tell you, it sort of takes 3 or 4 days to develop. And I remember being at work, and I used to work at Mxxx up until last year, and I was behind the till serving a customer, and all of a sudden my face just, well, my forehead just froze, and it just all sort of took effect, and I presumed that everybody could notice that all of a sudden I could move and then I couldn't, and I just thought, oh my god, I'm so embarrassed. Nobody noticed, but it did, it just froze, and then that was it, and then I couldn't sort of lift my eyebrows, and I kept going to everyone, look, I'm trying to lift my eyebrows, it's not working. And miraculously, that crease in the middle of my eyebrows disappeared almost instantly, and it's not come back since, even when my Botox completely wears off, because I like to let it wear off completely before I then go and have a new session. It completely wore off and it never came back. So that for me was the best ever. Everything else is just a bonus. The fact that it makes my crow's feet a lot less. I mean, you can see they're sort of coming back a little bit. Can you see that? At the edge. But that's minimal, you know, I can live with that for the moment. And my forehead, I've got no issues with that. I did see somebody else's video, and I am going to tag her. I hope she doesn't mind, so I'm going to tag her. And she gave me the most amazing tip, because the last time I had Botox, they were doing a 3 for 2 offer, so I thought, go for it. Surely just get as much in there as possible. So I went for 3 areas. So the one area was your forehead, along your brow bone, and then your crow's feet. So I thought, yeah, sod it, let's go for all 3. So I had all 3 done, but it gave me a completely different effect, and I wasn't as happy with it. And I felt that the first time I had the Botox done, when it took effect, it lifted my eyebrows up, and it almost made me feel like I was wide awake all the time, no matter how little sleep I'd had. My face just, my eyes just seemed wide awake. Whereas when I had the last session, when I had my forehead done, it almost had the opposite effect, and it made me sort of like really sort of tired, and I couldn't understand what the issue was. And also it gave me like a funny eyebrow. So when I did that, whatever that expression is, surprise, it made my eyebrow go all the way up, and again it looked weird. So I was watching this lady's video, and I've completely forgotten what her name is. She's brilliant. Angie from America, and she was saying how she'd had her forehead done, and it made, because obviously there's so much Botox in there, it made everything sort of drag down, and it made her hooded eyes worse. Now I have hooded eyelids, obviously through age, as well as they've always naturally been like that anyway. So it just made everything worse, and it just made everything sort of droop. So I've learnt now that I'm only going to get the 2 areas done, just to lift my eyebrows and just to sort of calm down my crow's feet. It's not painful. It's a tiny minimum pain. I mean, I've got tattoos, so it's nothing near a tattoo. They're just minimum pain, and it's quick. And if you go to someone that's recommended I mean, I go to a nurse. I don't go to a beauty clinic or anything. I go to a nurse. So I just feel better if it's like a doctor or nurse doing it. And she's brilliant. She doesn't like the frozen effect. So she likes my forehead and my facial expressions to still have movement. So I don't know if you can hear that car alarm going off. I'll stop in a minute. So she likes everything to have movement still, so she's quite light with what she does. And what they usually do, I don't know if they do this everywhere, but at my surgery they do, they put sort of half the amount in, so that you can wait for it to take effect and then come back in a couple of weeks. And if you feel that some bits aren't the way you want them to be, she can put more in. So the last time I went, my laughter lines haven't disappeared as well as I wanted them to, and as well as they had previously. And the nurse agreed, so she just put a little bit more, I think it was only one side as well, she put a little bit more one side just to even everything out again. And yeah, it's been brilliant. Mine doesn't last very long because I go to the gym, and they say that if you go to the gym and you have a high metabolism, then, or if you work out a lot and you have a high metabolism, it breaks down the Botox quicker. So mine does not last very long, even less this time, because I'm going to the gym even more than I was the last time I had it done. So that's one of the sort of the downsides of it, is it is an expensive procedure, and it obviously doesn't last the sort of the 4 or 5 months that they say. Mine maybe lasts, I don't know, between 2 and 3 months, if that. But what it does do is, I mean, I've had it done I think 3 or 4 times now. So what it does do is, even when it's worn off, it still is effective. So it trains your, no, it makes your muscles forget how to do the action that they did that made the wrinkle, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I hope it does. I can't explain it very well, but so I was always very expressionful in my forehead, and I was always putting my eyebrows up and doing that a lot and everything, and that's where these deep wrinkles were coming from. Whereas now I don't do that as much, and I don't feel like I'm not expressing myself as much, because I know that we use our face, for our expression, and I like having an expressionful face and a big smile and everything like that. But I just I don't think about it. I don't feel that it's made me look miserable or anything not to have as much expression, but I definitely noticed that I don't lift my eyebrows up as much, and I don't frown as much, which is always a good thing, because we don't like frowning. So anyway, waffled on far too much about Botox. So yes, I get Botox. Other than that, I just look after my skincare myself. I don't use the same moisturiser all the time or the same products. I switch from one product to the other, usually for whatever's on offer, because I found that I've used high-end moisturisers and makeup removers and toners and eye creams and everything. I've used high-end, and I've used drugstore, even drugstore's own brands like Tesco's or Superdrug's own brands, and I found they make no difference whatsoever. They still do the same thing. So as long as you moisturise, I do moisturise every day and every night, and I do moisturise before I put my makeup on. I use a primer. I started back using a serum, because I used to, but then I stopped. So I started back using a serum. I always use eye creams. And another thing that I've just started using, and now I need a slap for this, is sunscreen. Again, something I've never used, even when sunbathing. And I think it's because the sun doesn't see me, I don't feel that I need sunscreen. And I know that's complete crap. I know I need sunscreen. That's why I wear sunscreen now. So in the day when I'm going out, I put sunscreen now under my foundation. I think it's like an SPF 50. Let me know if that's the right thing to use. I don't know. But I'm just being honest with you. I'm telling you all the things that I have done in the past that haven't been great, and this is the result. I don't have the best skin in the world. I'm sure there's many people that would say that my skin looks horrendous for my age or whatever, but how I feel personally, considering what I've sort of done to my skin, because I don't sleep very well, so I have a lack of sleep. Definitely, I don't sleep very well. I'm a night person, so I find it very difficult to sleep at night and very difficult to get up in the morning, because the way my body clock works, and it has always worked since I was little, I just am awake at night. So I like to do all my jobs and everything at night. If I've got a job to do, if I've got some work to do, whatever, I much prefer doing it at night rather than getting up 7, 8, 9 in the morning. I just can't be doing with it. So I do get up a lot later in the morning to go into the office. So now I get a full 8, 9 hours sleep, because I'm able to get up later. But previously, when I've worked in retail, which was only up until a year ago, obviously I had to be at work for 8:30, so
sad story.